next piece of news is about Karrion Kross. And now at this point, he is literally just another failed NXT call-up. Now, we exclusively reported the exact plan for Karrion Kross a couple of days after he was called up to the main roster, with several pieces of that report being confirmed by Fightful's paywall and the Observer's Andrew Zarian. The idea was that Karrion Kross would enter the Raw roster and immediately go into a losing streak against specifically Jeff Hardy, as Jeff Hardy was about to get his music back and they wanted to start a push for him. Now, there is considerably more change coming for the former NXT champion. What was supposed to happen is now so far from reality as to be comfortably called as abandoned. Jeff Hardy quite suddenly became unavailable due to COVID, which meant that we had a mini feud between Karrion Kross and Keith Lee instead. Each man picked up a win and then we all got on with our lives. Shortly afterwards, Jeff Hardy did return and normal service did resume, but the actual plan, that being to bring in Scarlett and just like that turn Karrion Kross into a stone cold mid-card killer, was largely forgotten about. At that point, Karrion Kross's character, and that's character with a K like in Mortal Kombat by the by, was changed to be something very similar to what Aleister Black was when he first debuted. He was essentially walking around backstage, challenging people to pick a fight with him in a nice simple black suit. You know, just a nice suit. Today, WrestleVotes are reporting that there's another character change coming. We're still looking at a guy dressed in suspenders and the helmet, and my god, it's not going to be fun at all, is it? We still have not seen any sign of Scarlett, and we don't know where she is at this point, with Kross explaining that both of them are waiting for something to be cleared or sorted out. Now, this could be a plethora of things. This could be a naming issue, could be an attire or presentation issue, or it could be something more personal, which is genuinely none of our business. What I'm trying to say is that it was a pretty vague thing to say. We don't really know where she is. We haven't even seen Scarlett on NXT. She hasn't been involved in anything, and it seems as though every single show that Karrion Kross appears on without Scarlett is just another nail in that coffin as he is slowly getting broken down and buried. Now that it's been a couple of months, if we look back at Karrion Kross's main roster career, there is no doubt that it's been a complete failure. He's been entirely forgettable, to the point that I often forget he's on Raw. A complete non-entity. Every month we either see a different evolution of Karrion Kross or no Karrion Kross at all. There's no consistency, no real push, and a complete absence of a plan. Whatever is keeping Scarlett from making her main roster debut is also keeping Karrion Kross from making an impact. And I have to ask the question. Was Karrion Kross called up because Raw planned to use him? Or was Karrion Kross called up because NXT wanted rid of him? When we think about NXT call-ups that made the weakest impact possible, genuine question. Has anyone actually been more of a failure by the WWE than Karrion Kross? Jay Quick says, add Kross to the list of failed call-ups. Yep, for me, right at the top. And the thing is, I can't sit here and say it's his fault. I just can't. He's been told, go out there and do this. He's done it. That's literally all he's been able to do. So I can't sit here and blame him for it. I just can't. Connor says, Karrion Kross's suits over Seth Rollins' suits. That's not a big ask though, is it? That's not a big ask. Karrion Kross did look damn good in a suit. I've got to give him credit for that. I see what Scarlett sees in him. I really do. Seth Rollins looks ridiculous in every suit, but that's intentional. That's intentional. WrestleConnect says, nope, he's been bad top guy to who? He was a top guy in NXT way back in there. Way back in there. Bailey says, bigger main roster failure than Karrion Kross. How about Aleister Black? Aleister Black had some pretty good matches and a decent run and a WrestleMania Tag Team Championship match. He wasn't bad. Buzzy says, I feel like these changes to Kross are being made because they need to get him those crowd reactions. They booked him better recently by giving him a small win streak. He's got some fine promos. But if there's one problem that remains, it's that fans just haven't bought into them. No reaction is the worst reaction any wrestler can get. Buzzy, you've hit the nail perfectly on the head there. No reaction is worse than a bad reaction, because a bad reaction, you just turn heel and you turn into The Rock. It's fine. everyone can turn into The Rock. If there's one thing we can all say with absolute certainty, is that all of us are secretly The Rock waiting to happen. If someone walks down the street and boos us, we suddenly become The Rock. We all know that. But no reaction, no matter what you do, that's a killer. That is an absolute killer of careers. It suggests Bo Dallas or Hayde Vanson. Who the hell is Hayde Vanson? Yeesh. Sean says, is Kairi Sane on the list of failed call-ups? I wouldn't say so. I think it took them a while to really get into gear with her, but her as a tag team champion, pretty good. Pretty good. I enjoyed heel Kairi. That was fun. Connor says, I'm actually The Rock already, just no one knows. I learned to do the eyebrow as a kid. Can I still do it? Yeah, I can still do it. You have to go down and then up. Then you lower your head so it looks like it's going even higher. Good stuff. Jake Quick says, the Ascension was on the failed call-up list. Oh, were they? Oh, they were. The Ascension are definitely high on that list. Nothing they did worked. Nothing they did worked. They kept cutting promos like, we are here to destroy, and then they would lose in 2 minutes. Didn't stand a chance, really. Did not stand a chance.